This is the Thompson Cast. I am Mel Thompson. In my opinion, there is a political risk that will remain long term for those wishing to participate or invest in the Indian coal and energy markets. India is experiencing severe power outages caused by coal shortages that cripple many of its power plants. Energy shortages are being blamed for slow economic growth in the country. How this is a clear political risk is in the lack of any government plan to increase energy and power production and thus lure domestic producers back into the Indian market. If the domestic producers can't deal with the current situation, then this does not bode well for foreign direct investors and those seeking to enter this market. The problem is blamed on a host of factors. The state-controlled firm that produces most of the country's coal has not scaled up production sufficiently to meet the growing demand. Plans to develop new mines have been put on hold by concerns of damaging the environment. Let's look at these two issues individually. First off, the government-controlled firms have not increased production, and this is causing a disruption in the energy markets and economic damages to those who depend on these markets. Basically, this is everyone. A policy of increased production would create opportunities not only in the energy markets but also construction and housing. As these areas grow, so will the demand for goods and services in the retail markets. Government action would not be the political risk. The inaction is the political risk. And the inaction is due to the lack of clear policy to increase production that will lead to foreign direct investment and business ventures in other ancillary industries, as I just described. Yes, this will require public funds, and yes, India is strapped at this time. However, it should consider borrowing or even issuing bonds to cover these costs. The long-term impact of the multi-industry growth will enable repayment and justify the risk. Finally, bond issue may affect foreign investment, and this would be a measuring stick for non-bondholders who wish to enter the energy market and others that want to also get into it and create ancillary businesses and opportunities. Secondly, the environmental issues should have been addressed a long time ago. However, since they have not been, the lack of any plan to control pollution is a long-term political risk. At some point, the contamination is going to reduce productivity, raise healthcare costs, and lower overall economic output. A long-term plan to reduce emissions coupled with a long-term plan to increase cleaner production would stimulate growth and a new market for these technologies. A direct foreign investor or U.S. firm would have a three-pronged opportunity if the government would address this issue. Finally, on the environment, I consistently advise my clients that poor environmental records are a major political risk. You run the real risk of alienating U.S. customers by getting involved with companies overseas that care little about Mother Earth. Furthermore, the excuse that they are only acting within the guidelines of their own governmental policies is a lousy excuse because it is a cop-out. Do not get involved with an overseas venture that pollutes the environment. You're going to have backlash here at home, and at some point you may face civil unrest and possible economic damages resulting from that in the host nation. Government inaction in this situation is a political risk. This has been the Thompson Cast. I am Mel Thompson.